All right, so we're diving deep today
Deep.
into Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, come on, this wasn't just like your normal everyday boxing match, right?
Absolutely not.
We had a YouTube star going up against like a legendary heavyweight champion.
In AT&T Stadium, no less.
Yeah, Texas.
Yeah.
Huge venue.
Crazy.
And honestly, I think a lot of people were surprised by, well, everything about it.
The outcome, especially, I think.
Yeah, the outcome for sure.
Mm.
So I guess to kind of set the stage a little bit, can you remind us, like, what were the rules here? Because this wasn't a professional bout.
Right. It was an exhibition match.
So
more about, I guess you could say, entertainment than like a hardcore,
right, yeah.
Championship fight.
And of course, we got to remember, I mean, Mike Tyson hadn't been in a professional ring since
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Like,
a long time.
It's a lifetime ago, practically.
Yeah.
I feel like I was in high school the last time he was in the ring.
Right.
So there's a lot of context here.
A lot of context to take in before we even get to like
Yeah.
the actual fight itself.
Yeah, exactly.
But also worth mentioning, I think the undercard was actually a really great fight.
Yeah.
It was Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano for the undisputed lightweight title.
So, I mean, that's a big deal, right? When we say undisputed.
And it means you hold all the belts.
All the belts,
Yeah.
all the major championship belts in that weight class.
Yeah, so really cool to have that as
Right.
like the preliminary
Right, yeah.
before this big main event.
Which, let's be honest, that was the main attraction here.
Oh, for sure.
Right. Everyone was tuning in to see Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Absolutely.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Jake Paul won.
He did.
He won by unanimous decision.
Yeah, it wasn't even close.
I mean, did anybody see that coming?
I don't think so. I mean, especially with that score, right? It was like 80-72 for one of the judges, and then the other two were 79-73.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty decisive.
Yeah, you don't see that very often.
Especially in a matchup like this.
A YouTube star defeating Iron Mike Tyson? Like, what? It's pretty wild.
It happened.
Well, I mean, a couple things, right? First off, you got to think about Jake Paul. He's a lot younger. He's got that reach.
Mm-hmm.
And he really used that to his advantage.
Keeping Tyson at bay.
Exactly. And, I mean, really avoiding that knockout punch.
Hmm.
So, very strategic.
Okay.
It wasn't about brute force with him.
So very different style than maybe what
Yeah.
we're used to seeing from Tyson.
For sure. For sure.
So it sounds like Paul's youth and, maybe his more modern boxing style really played a role here.
I think so.
But what about Tyson? How did he perform considering he's 58 years old?
Right. I mean, honestly, I think he did really well, all things considered. He showed a ton of heart. And his chin, I mean, he took some hard hits from Paul, and he never went down.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible,
For anyone, but especially
especially at that age.
Yeah.
And he was actually fighting with a knee brace, really.
But, being Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
he refused to use that as an excuse.
Of course.
He even said, and I quote,
Okay.
"I'm really happy. He was a good fighter and well prepared. I didn't prove anything to anyone, just to myself."
So it sounds like he wasn't too disappointed with the loss.
I don't think so, no. He almost seemed to approach this fight as like a personal challenge.
Yeah.
More than anything
Yeah.
else, just to see if he still had it in him,
Okay, but he's 58 years old. Do you think he'll actually get back in the ring again?
That's the question, right? I mean, after a performance like this, is there even a place for him in like the current boxing landscape?
Right. He's not exactly going for a championship title at this point, is he?
I don't think so. But
Yeah.
I mean, remember, Tyson's not just about winning belts anymore.
Right. He's a
Cultural icon.
He's Mike Tyson.
Exactly. People will always want to see him fight.
Yeah. Just to say they saw it.
Exactly. I mean, this event alone proves that.
So maybe exhibition matches against other retired, legends.
I could see that working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generate some serious buzz, I bet.
Oh, yeah. Imagine like Tyson versus Holyfield again.
Oh, man.
Or even Lennox Lewis.
That would be amazing.
And, I mean, these wouldn't be about like titles or rankings or anything.
Yeah, just like celebrate.
Exactly. Celebrating boxing history
Yeah.
and giving fans a chance to see these guys.
Back in action one more time.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd definitely tune in for that.
For sure.
But speaking of legends and legacies,
Right?
what about Jake Paul?
What about him?
Where does this win leave him? I mean, he's clearly ambitious.
Oh, yeah.
But is he really aiming for the top tier of professional boxing? What do you think?
Well, he did say after the fight,
Okay.
anyone I want, this is the biggest event. Everyone is next on the list.
So, I mean, that sounds like someone who's aiming pretty high.
Pretty high.
He even called out Canelo Alvarez,
He did.
saying that Alvarez needs the money from a fight with him.
A lot of confidence there.
Yeah, talk about confidence.
Yes.
But is he really ready for that level of competition? I mean, Canelo is a different beast than like an aging Mike Tyson.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, Canelo, that would be a massive step up in competition.
Yeah.
But I think, even a loss against someone like Canelo, it could actually benefit Paul.
Really? How so?
Well, it would show that he's willing to challenge himself, take risks,
Get out of his comfort zone?
Oh, exactly. Step outside of that comfort zone.
So maybe it's not just about winning for him at this point.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's about building that brand.
I think so.
Proving he's a serious contender.
For sure. For sure.
And then, of course, attracting bigger and bigger audiences.
Exactly. Playing the long game.
Long game, yeah.
He's young, he's learning, and he's created so much hype around himself,
He really has.
Love him or hate him.
Yeah.
You can't deny he's changing things up in the boxing world.
He's shaking things up, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, but this whole influencer boxing thing.
Right.
Some people think it's a total joke, right? That it cheapens the sport, takes away from like the true artistry of it all.
I get that, yeah. There's definitely tension there. I mean, on the one hand, you've got these traditional boxing purists who see this as a gimmick, a sideshow, distracting from like the real heart of the sport.
And they have a point though, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't just become a boxer overnight.
No, definitely not. Years of training.
Right.
Dedication to develop those skills.
It's an art form.
It is.
But then on the other hand,
these
events are attracting huge audiences.
Huge.
Especially among like younger fans.
Right. People who might not otherwise even care about boxing.
Yeah.
And that's the key, right? Can't deny the impact it's having, bringing in new fans, generating revenue,
right,
creating this buzz around the sport that it hasn't seen in years.
So whether the traditionalists like it or not,
that's happening.
It's part of boxing now. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword then. Potential for growth, but also, I don't know, a risk of alienating hardcore fans.
For sure. A fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
And I think we'll continue to see it play out.
I think so too.
The lines between sport and entertainment are getting blurrier and blurrier.
Yeah.
And this fight is a perfect example of that.
It really is.
A spectacle, for sure.
Totally.
But it also had moments of genuine athleticism and competition.
It did. It did. This whole thing has got me thinking.
Yeah.
What does this fight say about us? Like the viewers, why are we so fascinated by these celebrity matchups?
Right.
Even if they aren't like real boxing matches in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
Is it the drama, the personalities, or maybe we just crave something different, something that, I don't know, breaks the mold of traditional sports?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does this say about our values, our entertainment? I mean, even like our desire to see the unexpected.
Right.
It's a conversation we should be having.
I agree. I think we're seeing a shift in how we consume like sports and entertainment.
Yeah.
And it's not always clear where the lines are drawn.
I agree. And that's what makes this whole thing so interesting.
Right.
This fight was like a microcosm of a larger cultural trend. A trend I think that we'll continue to explore.
Yeah.
As we kind of dive deeper into the future of boxing and like this evolving world of sports entertainment.
Okay. Yeah. You've convinced me.
Yeah.
This Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight wasn't just about two guys in a ring.
No.
It was like a cultural moment that sparked some serious questions about the future of boxing, celebrity culture, and, even what we as the audience, what we truly value.
For sure.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit and dive into like the specific paths these two fighters might take.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with Jake Paul. I mean, he's undefeated in these exhibition matches, clearly hungry for more, but who would be a truly strategic opponent for him at this point? So we've got this young, ambitious fighter, tons of momentum, but still a lot to prove. What's the next smart move for Jake Paul? I mean, he called out Canelo Alvarez.
He did.
But is that realistic right now?
I mean, it's bold. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Canelo's at the top of his game.
Yeah. Multiple division world champion.
Right. Paul would be a serious underdog in that fight.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But is there something to be said for like taking on the best, even if the odds are stacked against you? Could a fight like that, even a loss, I don't know, boost his credibility in the boxing world?
Oh, absolutely. It would show he's not just about the hype and the spectacle, that he's willing to face, the real challenges.
Yeah.
But strategically, it might be too much too soon.
Okay.
These exhibition matches he's been in, they haven't exactly been against top-tier professional boxers.
Yeah. Good point. So what would be a smarter path for Paul right now?
Well, I think he's got a couple options.
Okay.
he could keep building his record against other rising stars,
Yeah.
in that influencer boxing scene.
Uh-huh.
Allows him to gain more experience, refine his technique,
Right.
and solidify his brand even further.
Sort of like a proving ground before stepping up to the major leagues.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Another option would be to target those retired fighters
Okay.
with name recognition.
Yeah, yeah.
Guys who still have some drawing power,
Right, right.
but aren't exactly at their peak anymore.
So like a Roy Jones Jr., for example.
Yeah, someone like that.
Great.
A fight like that would generate a lot of interest.
Yeah. Would.
Give Paul a chance to test himself against a legend and potentially, set him up for those bigger fights down the road.
So almost like a stepping stone between, the exhibition world and those top contenders.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting how his career is almost like a case study in how to navigate this whole new landscape of boxing.
It really is.
He's blending like athletic ambition with, I don't know, savvy self-promotion.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's clearly working for him.
Oh, it's working.
Yeah.
He's a fascinating figure to watch.
Yeah.
I think his career trajectory could tell us a lot about where boxing is headed.
Now, what about Mike Tyson? He mentioned he wants to fight again.
He did.
Do you see that happening?
It's tough to say. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got that passion,
Yeah.
the fighting spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, his performance against Paul showed he's in incredible shape, especially for his age.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic.
Yeah.
58 years old, those risks are so much higher now.
Right?
I mean, facing another young, hungry fighter like Paul could be dangerous.
It could be. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So what are the options then? Retirement?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Remember, people still want to see him in that ring, even if it's not, in a super competitive context.
Right. You're talking about those exhibition matches
Yeah, exactly.
against other legends.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think those types of events, they'd allow him to keep showcasing his skills,
Right.
entertain his fans,
Right.
maybe even earn some impressive paychecks, all without putting himself in unnecessary danger.
Yeah, I have to admit, the idea of seeing Tyson go toe-to-toe with Holyfield or Lewis again
Right.
is pretty exciting.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would be a celebration of boxing history.
It would?
A chance to relive some of those iconic moments.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to with Tyson,
Yeah.
It's about legacy,
Mm-hmm.
preserving his place in boxing history and connecting with those fans.
Right. Yeah.
Who grew up watching him dominate the sport.
So it sounds like both Jake Paul and Mike Tyson have some interesting paths ahead of them.
Oh, yeah.
But more than that, I think this whole event has given us a lot to think about.
A lot to think about, yeah.
It sparked a conversation about boxing, the future of it, the lines between sport and entertainment,
Getting blurrier and blurrier.
and even, the power of celebrity in today's world. This fight wasn't just about punches and knockouts.
Right.
It was about cultural shifts, changing values,
Yeah.
and even just the way that we consume and engage with sports.
No, for sure.
It was a reminder that even in something like boxing, something that seems so straightforward on the surface,
Right.
there's always more beneath the surface.
Always.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it all.
Yes.
The questions this fight raises,
Yeah.
they're just as intriguing as the fight itself.
Yeah, exactly.
What does this tell us about our fascination with celebrity, our desire for spectacle, the changing landscape of athletic competition?
Those are some great questions.
Yeah,
This deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
it has.
Thanks for joining us.